I got punished for something that I did terribly wrong.
Michael Vick. By 2007, the Atlanta Falcons star had participated in 3 Pro Bowls and was the first quarterback to rush for over 1,000 yards in a single season.
Vick steps up, enters the red zone, inside the 15, the 10, turns the corner, dives, touchdown.
The Giants defense, you can't play him in true man-to-man because you're turning your back to him. It just parts like the Red Sea in front of him.
However, away from the gridiron, Vick was leading a dark life, causing his arrest the same year. The authorities had discovered that a dogfighting ring was based at his property in Surry County, Virginia, known as Bad News Kennels.
Bad News Kennels was started us wanting to breed pit bulls with the patches and the ones that, look pretty, and it was show dogs, and we was gonna sell them. And it just went from one aspect to another.
After pleading guilty, Vick was sentenced to 23 months in jail. As such, he was suspended indefinitely from the NFL and lost several endorsement deals. Upon Vick's release, the NFL rescinded the suspension, and he signed for the Philadelphia Eagles. He retired in 2017 and then began a coaching career.
Best thing for me that ever happened to me in my life was me getting shipped off to Kansas, man. Because other than that, I wasn't going to change.
Zach Stacy. As a running back for the then-named St. Louis Rams and New York Jets, Stacy had 3 seasons in the NFL before retiring in 2017.
Stacy the catch and run for the touchdown. Zach Stacy into the end zone. Second touchdown of the night for the veteran Matt Flynn.
In 2021, an online video exposed a terrible incident. Arriving at ex-partner Kristen Evans' house in Florida, Stacy was in a jealous rage. He struck her several times before tossing her into the TV. All of this was in front of their infant son.
Stacy turned himself into police Thursday night after he learned of a warrant out for his arrest.
While Stacy left before the police arrived, the incident was captured on security cameras, which Evans released on social media. When he was arrested, Stacy claimed Evans had staged the attack. In 2023, after pleading guilty, the former NFL player was sentenced to 6 months in jail and a year of probation.
The victim, Kristen Evans, asked the court to only sentence Stacy to probation along with, some counseling and other programs, but the state actually asked for a year in jail. So the judge decided to split the difference, landing on 6 months in jail, 2 years in probation, along with that counseling and other programs.
Darrell Henley. As a consensus All-American, Henley joined the Los Angeles Rams in 1989 as a cornerback. However, in 1993, he was accused of operating an elaborate trafficking network by former Rams cheerleader Tracy Donahoe, who was herself arrested for substance couriering. In 1995, Henley was found guilty. However, as he was awaiting sentencing, Henley had smuggled in a cell phone to continue his operation. He then ordered the killing of Donahoe and the judge, Gary L. Taylor. Thankfully, neither were harmed by his actions. However, that didn't mean Henley wouldn't be punished. As a result of his crimes and agreeing to a plea bargain, in 1997, he was sentenced to a combined 41 years in jail. Darren Sharper. With a 14-year career that included playing safety for the Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings, as well as winning a Super Bowl with the New Orleans Saints, Sharper had a legacy that any football fan would envy.
Intercepted, guess who? Darren Sharper, his 9th of the season.
Shortly after retiring after the 2010 season, allegations came out that he and his friends had assaulted women. As more incidents came to light, with charges across Nevada, California, Louisiana, and Arizona, Sharper was arrested in 2014.
They accused both men of using controlled and dangerous substances, drugs, with the intent to commit a crime of violence.
In 2016, after pleading guilty to the various cases, Sharper was sentenced to a combined 20 years in prison. Despite his conviction, the once respected icon is still eligible for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which has drawn heavy criticism.
Nominees for the Pro Football Hall of Fame Class 2017 were announced today, but one player on the list is raising some eyebrows.
Tommy Kane. In 1988, Kane joined the Seattle Seahawks as a wide receiver.
To be drafted by the NFL was a big deal, was a validation of his life, and I think something that he was very, very proud of, to have that opportunity. He had the speed, he had the ability to vertical jump, and he had all the skills you want from an NFL wide receiver.
Things got off to a rough start when he was sentenced to community service for assault in 1988. Then, before the 1993 season, injuries led to his departure. After a brief stint with the Toronto Argonauts, Kane retired from the sports.
At the age of 30, Tommy Kane's career in professional football is over.
I think he was dealing with that like any other athlete would deal with that. Like, it's just like a boxer who's boxing, making millions of dollars. You got the crowd screaming and yelling and all that, and then that's not happening anymore.
In 2003, he was met at his mother's house in LaSalle, Quebec, Canada, by his estranged wife, Tamara Sheikh and Hilda St. Louis, a member of their church, to take Kane to rehab. Instead, after Sheikh dismissed reconciliation, Kane brutally attacked her, resulting in Kane fatally stabbing Sheikh. Due to claiming he didn't remember the attack and was suffering from depression, he pleaded guilty to manslaughter and was sentenced to 18 years.
Tommy pleads guilty to the lesser charge of manslaughter, but he doesn't get off easy.
He was given 18 years for manslaughter, which is really a very heavy sentence for manslaughter. That is the kind of sentence you would expect from basically a murder conviction.
Ray Caruth, signed as a first-round draft pick in 1997 for the Carolina Panthers, Caruth had a promising career as a wide receiver.
At that point, you're looking at him like a Steve Smith was when he was young, and he came up on the scene, and you saw him develop through training camp, and you saw the talent, and you're like, oh, this guy gonna be good.
But his personal life would cause his downfall. In 1999, Caruth's 8-month pregnant partner, Cherika Adams, was shot in Charlotte, North Carolina. While injured, Adams called 911 and told them Caruth's car had stopped in front of hers, allowing another vehicle to pull up and fire at her.
I wasn't actually originally assigned to the call itself, but I was close by and I figured, why not? You know, it seemed like a simple accident. It ended up being far from that.
Adams sadly didn't survive. While the baby made it and was born, he suffered brain damage due to a lack of oxygen. Caruth had organized the hit due to Adams refusing an abortion. In 2001, after being acquitted of murder, Caruth was sentenced for conspiracy and received 19 to 24 years. He was released in 2018.
Wearing a full smile behind the barbed wire fence, Ray Caruth's walk to freedom was short and simple, unlike the days leading up to his conviction.
Lawrence Phillips. On top of 3 years in the NFL with multiple teams, Phillips also played in NFL Europe and the Canadian Football League as a running back in a 7-year professional career.
Watch the lead block right there. Nice job against Ron George. And that's full speed running by Lawrence Phillips.
Phillips goes in for his 4th touchdown.
However, during that time, his legacy was tainted with legal issues. Yet in 2005, his reputation further plummeted to new depths when various assault allegations caught up with him, leading to his arrest.
However, in 2008, Phillips fell on hard times and was charged for assaulting his former girlfriend.
In 2009, Phillips was given a combined sentence of 31 years. In 2015, his cellmate, Damian Soward, the cousin of former NFL player R.J. Soward, was found dead. It was soon discovered Soward was murdered, leading to Phillips being arrested. In 2016, while awaiting trial, Phillips took his own life.
Maybe he just felt, being going to be accused of murder, spend the rest of his life in prison. Maybe he felt he just didn't have no hope no more. It just looks like he just lost all hope.
Robert Rozier. In 1979, Rozier joined the then-named St. Louis Cardinals. However, rumors about substance issues and crime hindered his development, leading to his joining the Canadian Football League. After a brief stint with the Oakland Raiders, Rozier's professional career was over. Soon, he fell in with the religious group Nation of Yahweh.
He is 33-year-old Robert Rozier, also known as Notorious Israel. He is a member of the Yahweh sect.
In 1986, Rozier was arrested for 2 murders. After falling out with the Nation of Yahweh's leader, Yahweh Ben Yahweh, Rozier turned state's evidence against him. Rozier pled guilty to 4 murders, earning him 22 years in jail. In 1996, he was released on parole. However, in 1999, Rozier was arrested for a bounced check. Due to California's 3-strike policy, he was sentenced to prison for 25 years to life.
Robert Rozier was sentenced to 22 years in prison after pleading guilty to the second-degree murders of 4 people.
Aaron Hernandez. Despite rumors of substance issues and off-field issues, Hernandez was signed by the New England Patriots as a tight end.
In his 3 years in the National Football League, Aaron Hernandez has established himself as one of the game's best tight ends. Just as he'd been for Tim Tebow at the University of Florida, he became a key target for Tom Brady.
His performances soon made him one of the league's biggest prospects. Yet that changed in 2013 when he was arrested for the murder of semi-pro footballer Odin Lloyd. Allegedly, Hernandez may have shot Lloyd for fear of his bisexuality being leaked. In 2015, Hernandez was found guilty and sentenced to life.
Aaron Hernandez is found guilty of murdering Odin Lloyd.
You were sentenced by order of the court for the term of your natural life without the possibility of parole.
In 2017, he was then acquitted of the 2012 murders of Daniel De Abreu and Safiro Furtado. Days later, Hernandez took his own life. In the aftermath, his lawyer filed an appeal against the Lloyd conviction, which was granted, vacating the sentence. However, in 2019, the conviction was reinstated.
It's important to note, while the conviction will stand now, the court record will say the conviction was never affirmed or reversed because the defendant died while the appeal was pending.
O.J. Simpson, one of the most decorated players in NFL history, Simpson was a legend in the sport and also had a career as an actor.
Every time he ran the ball, it was almost like the Bills' equivalent of throwing the ball deep. It might not work, but if you made a mistake, they would score.
However, in 1994, his reputation was tarnished when he was charged with the murder of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown, and her friend, Ron Goldman. While Simpson was acquitted, he was found responsible for their deaths in a civil trial in 1997 and ordered to pay $33.5 million.
For the anguished families of Ronald Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson, this was justice.
Our family is grateful for a verdict of responsibility, which is all we ever wanted. And we have it, thank God.
Then, in 2007, he was arrested for armed robbery of a hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. In 2008, after being found guilty, Simpson was sentenced to 33 years in jail. In 2017, he was released on parole before being completely discharged in 2021. He died in 2024.
But in the end, at least publicly, O.J. Simpson felt content about his place in the world.
Are there any other terrible crimes committed by NFL players that we missed? Let us know below.
Ex-NFL star Kellen Winslow Jr. will spend 14 years in state prison.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from Watch Mojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.